Well, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you can all hear me. Thank you so much for coming to the Paramount. We are so excited to be here with this announcement supporting the new hotel across the street with 26 units of housing. I first want to thank the Paramount Theater and Eric Millette, the executive director, for hosting us today. We had an opportunity to get a tour of the expanded facility and what the vision is for the third and fourth floor. And the Paramount is already a wonderful community resource, and it's only going to be all the stronger after that investment. And I think also the investment across the street is going to have a significant impact on the future of this wonderful community asset. I also want to thank the Beldens who are here with us today as well, and you'll hear from them in a minute. But certainly we are excited about making this investment, but we couldn't do it without developers that are willing to take the risk, who are willing to put in the effort to not only improve this place on the center street in Wales that has not been developed for a generation, but also support the community by broader economic development. You need community leaders like them to step up in order to make a vision like that turn into a reality. So thank you very much to the Beldens for being here. We look forward to partnering with you. You'll also hear from a minute from Mayor Mike Dunges. You know, Mayor Mike Dunges, a couple of years ago, encouraged a lot of folks here in Rutland to come to our office when we announced this expanded 10% in Vermont program. They did come to our office. They had a lot of money that they asked for. And over time, I think we were able to deliver on every single ask that came to our office. And we really appreciated being able to do that. And I'll talk a little bit about what that is here today. Last, we'll hear from Lyle Jepson. Everybody knows Lyle very well from his role down here in Rutland County, but now we're very excited to see him in Montpelier as the Commissioner of Economic Development. Lyle has a great vision for the entire state, but he obviously has a soft spot for Rutland. And we really appreciate everything that you did, Lyle, to get the vision and the partners together to make this project continue to move forward and this big step that we're taking today as well. I want to also recognize Bob Baird, who is here, who is the chair of the Paramount Theater. I see him right there. Nice to see you, Bob. Thanks for being here. And also a couple of other community members, Mark Foley, who I think I saw in the back, and also Paul Gallo, who are the co-chairs of the capital campaign here at the Paramount. And they've done a great job raising over $6.5 million. They have a little bit more that they need to raise. So folks that are interested, I'm sure, can talk to either Mark or Paul, but it's community members like that that need to step up to make a big difference in a community like Rutland, and they're doing it in so many different ways. So just wanted to recognize them also for their work. Lastly, we have a couple legislators, I guess one legislator here, Mary Howard. Thank you for being here, Mary.
Of course.
And the aldermen and alderwomen that are here with us. Rutland State Attorney Ian Sullivan is here as well. I saw him in the back. Thanks for being here, Ian. And also want to mention Joan Goldstein, who's here from the Vermont Economic Development Authority as well, and former commissioner of the Economic Development Office as well, who committed money to this for cleanup site, but also committed loan from VITA for financing of the hotel. So a partner both in her role at the state and her role at VITA. So nearly 3 years ago, we stood together at the Bardwell House just down the street announcing our expansion of the 10% in Vermont program. This is a program that allows the treasurer to invest up to 10% of the state's cash on hand into economic development. We had made the decision then that we wanted to, one, prioritize housing, two, we wanted to expand it by $100 million, and then we also wanted to provide low-cost capital loans because we knew that's what projects needed to be able to get over the finish line and make their math pencil out. Without the money at that low interest rate, a lot of those projects that maybe were permitted, maybe had a vision, they just couldn't become a reality because the math did not work. We're really excited about the investments that we've made across the state. We have invested that $100 million to support 1,300 new units of housing across Vermont. And we were so excited about it that we wanted to expand the program again by another $30 million. And we made that announcement a couple of weeks ago up in Burlington. We announced that that $30 million would support roughly 450 new units of housing across Vermont. But we wanted to hold back one of those announcements, which was the announcement right here in Rutland. You know, previously we invested $8 million with a Heritage Family Credit Union. Many representatives are here today. Heritage took our money, leveraged it with other private capital, and built about 90 homes here in Rutland. We also worked with the VHFA to invest about $4 million of that money to build about 110 units of affordable housing that is being built in the Rutland community. And now, today, we're announcing a significant $8 million commitment to the Rutland Hotel project right across the street. Woo! So in total, the investments here in Rutland will result in about $20 million invested in the community, supporting about 225 new units of housing, 30 permanent jobs over at the hotel, 100 new units of hotel rooms across the way that will drive economic activity for generations to come. So the message that I have today is a simple one, and I hope it's one that you'll take back with you. But Vermont invests in Rutland, and when Vermont invests in Rutland, Rutland succeeds, but so does Vermont. And that is a really important and critical message. The reason I think Vermont succeeds if we invest in Rutland is because this community has so much potential. And I know every single person in this room sees that potential, sees that future, and wants to make sure we lean in to make that vision a reality for everyone here in the Rutland community. You know, when I drive around Vermont, I hear the same story continually about the shortage of housing. We hear it from employers, we hear it from hospitals, we hear it from nonprofits, we hear it from people in the service community treating people who are homeless or mental health issues or substance use disorder. There's just simply not enough housing in our communities. It's why we focused so heavily on supporting projects that are going to add housing stock to Vermont. So this project is unique. Not only are we getting the economic benefit of 100 new hotel rooms in downtown, not only is it going to support all of the local businesses that are here in the Rutland community, not only is it going to support the Paramount with all the great programming that they're doing here, but it's also going to add 26 new units of housing as well. And that housing that will be added here, that's housing that is for anyone in the community, but I would imagine that a lot of folks will be interested in coming into Rutland from the outer part of the community, leaving their large home that will open up for another young family to move into. So it has this beneficial effect of opening up more units throughout the community by building 26 units here in downtown Rutland. So again, I want to thank you all for coming here. I want to thank the Beldens, who you'll hear from Justin here next in a minute. But again, we can bring the money, we can bring the resources. We're excited to invest in this community because you're ready and excited to invest in yourselves. But we could not do it without those developers willing to step up, take on the risk, and take on the work of creating something so monumental and doing it and making it a reality. So thank you so much for having me. I want to have Justin come up and join me next to talk a little bit more about the project.
Thank you everyone for coming. Can everybody hear me okay? First off, we want to thank Treasurer Pieciak for being such a staunch supporter of this project for the last few years and of Rutland in general. He sees the vision we have here in downtown Rutland, and we're grateful for his support for this important project. This project will bring much needed economic activity, generate tax revenue, create jobs and housing, and clean up a long-time contaminated property. We would also like to thank Mayor Dunges and his team, the entire Rutland City Board of Aldermen, and the entire City of Rutland for their steadfast support of the project. We'd also like to thank Governor Scott and his administration for their continued support for the project. So with this investment from Treasurer Pieciak, we have now secured 80% of the funding needed for this project. This is a critical step forward for the project and gives us some real momentum. The remediation work is just getting off the ground, as you can see across the street, and will take about 4 to 6 months to complete. The cleanup work is fully funded, and our plan is to have the project financing package fully secured by the time the cleanup is complete. As you all know, we've faced challenges over the last 5 years with contaminated soil, financing costs, and the constantly rising costs of construction. As a local family-owned company, we actually just celebrated our 50th year in business this past year, which is 2 years younger than that hole in the ground. So over the last 5 decades, we've remained committed to investing in the future of Rutland, and we remain committed to this project. With this key financing investment from Treasurer Pieciak, we are one step closer. Thank you.
Thanks, Justin. Thank you very much. Thanks, now I wanted to invite up Eric Millette, the Executive Director of Paramount, to hear a little bit about the impact that this project will have on their operations here.
Oh, hey, everybody. Didn't see you over there. Hey, for those I haven't met, my name is Eric Millette, and I have the honor of serving as this great organization's Executive Director. I want to thank you all for being here today, and I want to thank you, Treasurer Pieciak, for the chance to spend a few minutes talking about why this hotel matters, not just as a building, but as a catalyst for our downtown. So it's not lost on me the sad sort of irony that there's a very sadly infamous photo that was taken of that fire so long ago, back in 1973. That photo that probably many people in this room have seen was taken right here upstairs at the Paramount. The angle was looking back down at the property. So I think it's it's fitting and very sweet that we are here talking about this incredible investment in this theater, about that space, when for so long there was sort of a sad connection there. So thank you for helping us reverse the curse. Hey, listen, at the Paramount we welcome more than 70,000 visitors each year. That activity generates an economic impact north of $2.5 million each year for our community. On any given night, we're bringing hundreds, and on 2 show days, sometimes even thousands, of people into downtown. They're making dinner reservations before the show. They're grabbing drinks or desserts afterward. They're shopping, and increasingly, they're asking, where can I stay? Well, about 40%, and a growing number at that, of our patrons come from outside of Rutland County. 40%. So how many visitors are deciding not to come at all to our downtown, to our theater, because there isn't convenient quality lodging nearby? That's exactly why a hotel like this isn't just nice to have, it's essential for capturing the economic impact and keeping visitors engaged in our downtown. This excitement, it's not just theoretical, it's quantifiable. We've taken the time here at the Paramount to dig into the numbers. When we compare a decade's worth of Paramount ticket sales with Rutland City's room, meals, and entertainment tax collections, the growth lines remarkably parallel. When attendance at the Paramount rises, hotel stays and restaurant activity rise right alongside it. Conversely, when on occasion our visitation softens or plateaus, the broader hospitality numbers reflect that too. As the Paramount rises, as does Rutland City. That kind of alignment tells you something important. What happens inside this theater has a measurable impact outside of our doors, and we're not standing still. As part of our ongoing renovation, and many of you just past those stairs are standing in the first 2 floors of that renovation, we're bringing new conference and gathering space online on the 4th floor. Flexible space that can host meetings, performances, corporate rentals, corporate retreats, community events, and even small conventions. That dovetails perfectly with the needs of a downtown hotel. Picture this. A group can meet upstairs at the Paramount during the day, walk to dinner in the evening, maybe return here for a performance, and then just stay steps away right across the street overnight. The Paramount helps create a reason to come downtown. A show is a decision. It's something people put on their calendar. It brings them off the couch and into the heart of the city. And once they're here, that activity, it radiates outward into restaurants, into retail shops, and yes, into hotel rooms. That's why this project makes so much sense. When someone can drive to Rutland, have dinner, see your performance, and simply walk a few steps back to their hotel, that changes behavior. It makes choosing the Paramount easier. It makes choosing Rutland easier. It encourages people to stay longer. It encourages them to come back. And it positions our downtown as a complete experience, not just a quick stop. What I appreciate about this moment is that it isn't accidental. It's thoughtful investment. The hotel, the renovation of the theater, improvements to our streets and public spaces, these aren't just isolated efforts. They reinforce one another. In communities like Rutland, momentum doesn't just happen. It happens when you line up the right investments at the right time with the right people. I'm really happy it's these people that are standing here behind me, and I'm really happy it's you that are standing in front of me. You are, and they are, the right people. One success, it builds confidence for the next. Increased visitation, it drives local spending. Local spending supports jobs. Jobs and energy build optimism. And optimism attracts more investment. That's just the ripple effect. The Paramount fills the sidewalks and our seats. Restaurants feed the experience, figuratively and literally. And this hotel, well, it extends the stay. Together, those pieces create a downtown that don't just survive, it grows. I, for one, couldn't be more optimistic about where Rutland is headed. I'm really appreciative of this chance to share my thoughts and enthusiasm with you today. And I sure as heck hope sometime I see you sitting in seats in there and not standing out here in the lobby. So thank you all for coming, and once again, thank you.
Now to talk a little bit more about that local economic impact, I want to invite up Mayor Mike Dunges. Mayor?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I have notes somewhere, but then I have to put on my glasses to read them, and then I'm not looking at you, so I'm just gonna, okay, cool. So, Mike, Eric, and Justin all said a lot of the key things. What I can summarize is that investment begets investment, right? Eric talked about it, Mike and Justin did too. The important thing to think about, though, in a community like Rutland, is that investment needs to have a positive impact and can't put additional stress on the community. So when we look at an investment like the 10% program, right, and how that's money, not from our community, coming to our community without increasing the tax rate on any Vermonter at all. I mean, what an incredible tool. And it's absolutely phenomenal that we brought over $20 million of it here to Rutland. And I think that is a fantastic milestone at this point. I say at this point because more will come. But in reality, when we stood at the Barbell House 3 years ago, and it really was, I mean, we're a month away, right? We stood at the Barbell House 3 years ago, and the treasurer announced this program, right alongside of the announcement that came for the Paramount about the congressionally directed spending, and all these different components were starting to click together, that opportunity that so exists in this community at all times, you almost saw this light shine on how to capture it. And that is what people have stepped up to do. And I think that's the key piece of it too. Eric mentioned it, it's the people, right? The partners in this room, the people in this room have all invested, be it their dollars, their time, their energy, their effort, their thought, their vote, their voice, to making this community better over the last 3 years. And when we end up with a project like the hotel or the renovation here at the Paramount directly across the street from each other, and the city can step in and say, well, because we had an organization like our Board of Aldermen and the city of Rutland and the voters, 85% yes to the TIF district, right? 85% yes on the voter turnout. That's absolutely incredible to say, yes, we want to continue that investment down to the city streets and the infrastructure to support this growth. And it's just the beginning, right? We have 10 years to do projects. And at that end of the 20-year payback period, think about how affordable it's going to be with all of the investment and all of the growth. And what that affordability does is allows us to invest in things like public safety. It allows us to invest in completely rework the infrastructure that's needed to build these projects. And it doesn't stop there, because as affordability grows, so will the city. And as Rutland grows, so will Vermont. So the impact of little things like a low interest loan for a hotel, a big low interest loan for a hotel, or $8 million towards housing, or work through VHFA on affordable housing, that impact, grows in spades. It has this massive ripple effect. And in a community like Rutland, and I've said this for years, a little bit of money goes a long way in a smaller space than a little bit of money in a big space. So you get to see a bigger impact in Rutland than anywhere else when you look at investments like this. So my last few words here will be gratitude. Gratitude to all of the partners, all of the participants, the businesses, the state, the Board of Aldermen, the city members, the legislature, for all saying yes to investing in Rutland and investing in Vermont. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And finally, wanted to invite Lyle Jepson up, Commissioner of Economic Development, to talk a little bit about the statewide view of economic impact that this project will have. Lyle?
And I recognize that I'm between you and Gil's grinder. So I apologize in advance for the length of this speech, but I did want to come up and there are some people we've got to thank. And so as you look at the stack of finances that come into this project, some people call that a financial stack, some call it braiding of funding. I call it all of you working together. That's Rutland's secret sauce, everyone working together. And I believe what the mayor has often said, which is this is Rutland's moment. And there are some things that are bigger than ourselves, and these are the projects that we're undertaking right now. And as I look at the future and where projects will go, I recognize my own mortality and I say, will I see all of that? Maybe, but others will. And that is important. And we all recognize that. The team at Rutland recognizes the importance of what comes next. And the team hasn't been afraid to reach out for information and resources that the governor and the legislature have made available. Many people are making Rutland's success a reality, and that long list includes people like, and I'm going to name names and I'm going to forget names, but everybody's out there has worked on this. Like when Michael Talbot and when Bill Gillum came and said, there's this thing, TIF, we got to go after it. They then went and found Jess Hartleben, and they went and they found Ellie Beckett. Would you raise your hands in the back? Oh yes, okay. They're from the state of Vermont. Ladies and gentlemen, give them a round of applause. Outstanding work. What do? They administer the TIF. That is a game changer for Rutland City. It includes people, my list of people to thank include Michael Dunges, our mayor, who brings energy that rallied the city to get developers to look at Rutland City. Mayor Dunges.
Yeah.
It also includes the quietest developers I've ever had the opportunity to work with. Kent, Justin, and Carly, who, if you ask them a question, will answer your question. But that's it. They are going to change the downtown of Rutland, and they're right over here. Let's give them a nice round of applause. And we can't forget people like the current board chair or board president, Dave Allaire, and the board of aldermen. They have really pushed things forward. They were the ones that went out and said, you know, you got to vote for this bond. And Mike just said 85% of people in Rutland City voted yes. That's outstanding. And they'll do it again when the next bond issue comes around. It includes people like Sean Adkins, who I know is here. It includes John Russell, who is not here today, but is the VEPSI board chair that oversees the TIF. It includes Elizabeth Koulis, who I'm looking at right now. It includes Treasurer Pieciak right here, who is one of our biggest cheerleaders. And so many more people, and you're all here. It's not just one person. It's everyone that will contribute to Rutland 360. And you'll say, what is Rutland 360 anyway? I heard that phrase periodically through this whole thing that was going on with the TIF. Well, why it's called Rutland 360 is this. My crystal ball tells me that 2 years from now, we will have the opportunity to stand on what will be the 6th or 7th floor of a hotel across the street. We will be able to look around, all around the city, and we will be able to see a light shining on the rest of the city because economic development is going to emanate from right down here on Center Street with the Paramount Theater and other things going on and a hotel. That radiance will go out and it will help our entire county and it will help our entire state. That's Rutland 360. It all starts right here, and it starts today. I will say, the people in this room have created that inspiration, which now has great potential. The names of the people are important. I've only listed a few of those people who deserve recognition. Working together, Rutland can and will continue the momentum. But, and there's always a but to a speech. This is my but. The work is just getting started. So I challenge all of us in this room, people in front of me and people behind me, to make this more than just Rutland's moment. What we need to do is we need to create the next mantra, which I think the mayor actually said recently, which is, and he has coined the phrase, the best is yet to come. Together, let's make it the best is yet to come. Thank you.
Well, again, I want to thank everybody that came up and spoke, everyone behind me, everyone here today to celebrate this really exciting announcement. We look forward to being back when the Beldens have us for the groundbreaking. We know there's a little bit more work left to do, but I know that moment is on the horizon. So thank you again for all your work. Thank you for being here, and hope everyone enjoys some lunch from Gills. Thank you.